friends, and welcome back to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster.
And I have a very important question for you today, Midge.
I can't wait.
Will you play mermaids with me?
Yes, absolutely I will.
Yes, we are slipping in right under the gun with some mermaid content.
Nice.
I have been seeing, I do love the social media like art holiday of mermaid, where we've got beautiful drawings, cosplay, so much good stuff. And we did also get a request in the Discord to talk about mermaids and sirens. So I thought, what a perfect time to have a little chat about our undersea friends.
Hell yeah.
So I am gonna shout out before we get in some of the articles I read. We got From Mermaids to Manatees, The Myth and the Reality from Smithsonian, as well as Mermaids, Myth, Kith, and Kin, which was a JSTOR article that was very interesting. But I feel like we grew up in a big time for mermaids, Midge.
Oh, yeah.
The 80s and 90s were all about mermaids, especially kind of like bright and colorful ones. Obviously, we had Splash, Disney's Little Mermaid, Barbie mermaids. Were you a mermaid girl growing up?
I was, when I was really little, I was obsessed with Ariel. That was my
yes.
Disney of choice. But I will say I did not... I don't think it was as big for me as like the aquamarine generation of people. Like that was I was not like full mermaid girl.
Yeah, I was pretty heavy into the mermaids. My sister and I definitely played mermaids. At pools and oceans growing up. Lots of fantasies about living in the deep. In addition to being a big
which goes a great hand in hand with your fear of dark water.
I know, right? It all comes around. But I also I don't know if I've talked about this on the pod. Maybe I have. But I have very formative mermaid memories because I went to Weeki Wachee when I was growing up.
What is a Weeki Wachee?
Oh my gosh, I was wondering if you were going to know about this or if you're going to ask about this, Midge.
This sounds like a Wisconsin thing.
It actually is a Florida thing.
Oh, okay.
This is a live mermaid show in a natural springs in Florida.
Cool.
It opened in 1947, but was like incredibly popular in the 60s. And it is a sunken underground like grotto theater with this huge tank, and there are live mermaids who come down there and do a water ballet. They definitely had like a Little Mermaid themed show when I was growing up because, they're following the mermaid times.
Yes.
But I was like, I have never seen anything so magical in my whole life. I feel like...
yeah, that would have had an impression on me, I'm sure.
Right, and like, I feel like nowadays you see that a lot more in like... And we'll talk about this a little bit later on because it is...
definitely not when we were kids.
Yeah, and it's like, it's the setup where like they're not wearing any gear. There's just like a single air tube hanging in the tank. And so they're beautiful and flowy, their flowy hair. And I was just like, this is the best thing that I've ever seen.
Do you know that our friend Cheyenne of Midge Munster's Halloween special fame, she worked at the like Vegas Mermaid show as a costumer.
I did hear that, and I am very jealous. I feel like Cheyenne probably knows about Weeki Wachee, so I'll have to ask if she's ever been.
Cheyenne strikes me as a mermaid girl in the best way.
Yes. So as I was like, all right. So obviously we got friendly mermaids. There are also scary mermaids, and I was like, let's dive into this. Dive.
Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Boo, tomato.
Aw, come on, we love it. So basically every part of the world has some kind of like mermaid-esque mythology. So they vary a lot from place to place. Like it's always like a fish person, but in different ways. One of the earliest recorded instance of something close to a mermaid, I would say, was a fertility goddess called Atargatis, who had a woman's face, but then the rest of the body was a fish.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. There are also Japanese representations of like, oh, this was a mermaid that was caught, and it's just like a lady's head with hair on a fish's body.
Yes, I have seen that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so there's definitely the percentage of fish to lady can vary depending on where you're from.
I might be wrong, but I think there's a yokai that is like a fish woman, but it's very that. It's like mostly fish.
Yeah, predominantly fish. But if we're picturing kind of our Western depiction of a mermaid where we've got our fish bottom half and our lady top half, you may also think of a siren. The word for mermaid in Spanish and Italian is sirena, and it's like sirène in French. But did you know that in Greek mythology, the sirens, as we see in the Odyssey, are actually part bird, not part fish?
I did know this, actually. Yes.
Good. Just an interesting tip. There are several other, like, kind of, in addition to, like, the Odyssey, there are other ancient Greek sources where they talk about them being birds, and it's really during, like, medieval bestiaries that they start being depicted as part fish. Something that I appreciated is the source mentioned that sometimes the text will say like part woman, part bird, but they're like, I drew a fish. I drew a fish lady, which just made me think of our Sphinx thing where people were just kind of wilding out and doing whatever felt right in their heart when they were doing these illustrations.
Well, because I'm trying to, there's something in Shakespeare that I'm sure has something to do with the Tempest, because there's a harpy in the Tempest. Yeah. But there's something in a Shakespeare play where there's a crossover where like harpy kind of is like being used largely to like womanoid creatures that are animal, like, so the harpies and the sirens are closely related cousins.
Yes, they are. It's kind of unclear when exactly this first happened. I did because, of course, I was reading this JSTOR article and they were like, hey, do you want to go into some of these deeper academic sources? And I was like, of course I do. And a gentleman who was researching this did find like some classical Greece references to them being fish-like. So it sounds like it wasn't necessarily like entirely made up by medieval Christians, but it was definitely their kind of force that brought these together and took this idea of like the singing and the seduction and giving this to the mermaid, which when you think about it, like them being a bird probably makes more sense for that.
To them singing, sure.
For them singing, because it's like, why is this fish gonna be singing to me? But this is what we've got now, and this is where our mermaid lore has developed. Of course, we have always heard, mermaid sightings being blamed on lonely sailors looking for hot babes out there in the water. As someone who grew up going to Florida regularly, I had heard about, people reporting manatees as mermaids, which of course makes sense because they are beautiful, voluptuous folks. So shout out to manatees. I did see some people claim that like manatees were the reason for mermaid myths, but like considering we have these stories from all over the world, including places that there are not manatees,
sure.
I don't think that's realistic. But that is considered boo Christopher Columbus, but it was during, just getting that out there, but that is considered the first written record of a manatee, is kind of saying, hey, we saw this weird mermaid beast.
Right. What is that?
What's that about? In some places, mermaids were considered to be good luck, but I would say generally in our Western mythos, we see them as dangerous, eager to lure sailors to their death. They're considered to be potentially like a harbinger of shipwrecks, and things like that. So,
well, yeah, because you're too busy looking at the hot lady.
I know,
and then
right?
you wreck your ship.
You gotta focus. You gotta focus
Lock
up,
in.
guys. Lock
in, sailors.
Truly, these sailors, they're all just looking out there in the sea. And I'm also like, a likely story that you're like, oh no, I shipwrecked because I saw a mermaid.
It was a woman's fault.
Classic sailor. We have talked about Fiji mermaids on this show before, back in our side show, which of course was a faux mermaid specimen, which there were a lot of during the curio cabinet era. These Fiji mermaids were generally like part monkey and part fish, but there were also ones that were made out of like manta rays and things like that, all sorts of desiccated things from the sea that people were like, probably a mermaid.
Close enough. Looks good.
Close enough. There was a mermaid show at the 1939 World's Fair. And as we mentioned at the start of the episode, there are places like Wikiwachi that have been doing mermaid shows since 1947. And it has become way more popular these days. Like Midge mentioned, there are mermaid bars now. You see mermaids a lot, at least on social media, like in like tanks at like Ren fairs and stuff. I feel
our
like
Ren fair has a mermaid cove.
I feel like it's kind of like, I mean, presumably it's like advancements in home fin technology have made it easier to do mermaid stuff in your own time. Because it is, I don't know, it is really interesting because I feel like mermaids are kind of like a fandom all their own. Like,
yeah, totally.
Obviously,
I would agree.
And you have like the mermaid parade, like in Coney Island. And just people are dressing up and living their mermaid fantasies, and I love that for them. But something that we got to move on to, something that you might have suspected, being that this is the Ghouls Night In podcast, but we're going to talk about mermaids' connections to queerness. What? So this was something that was really a focus of that Myth, Kith, and Kin article that I read on JSTOR, so do recommend that. And really kind of talks about this fascination of the mermaid in their existence between worlds, like part of the human world, separate from it, human and creature, above and below water, and she kind of lives in this liminal space and kind of is difficult to pin down. We've got obviously the original Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid, that is considered today to be really an expression of queer longing after his...
Which, if you are listening to this episode and you're like, mermaids aren't spooky, go read Hans Christian Andersen and come back to us.
Right. Yes. So tragic, and was written, after his romantic overtures were rejected by a man he was interested in. And something that was interesting to me is that this story then also is seen as an inspiration for an Oscar Wilde story, where a fisherman's love for a mermaid is considered sodomy in the story. And then after the two of them die, the world is like, actually, maybe their love was okay. And it's like, I guess that's does that feel,
no symbolism there.
Nothing gay about that.
No.
But we see this kind of yearning in a lot of mermaid stories, and I think it really also feeds in to the horror and darkness of the mermaid. There are so many like books and movies that have scary mermaids. And this, I have a very niche favorite that I don't know if anyone else will know about. So, listener, let me know if you also watch this. But there's an anime called Vampire Princess Miyu.
Nice.
Which I was very invested in as a teen. But there is an episode. Basically, the plot of it is that there's this vampire girl who like has to get rid of demonic things in the human world, basically, that are like feeding off of human energy. That kind of
sounds right up your alley.
Yes, and I was like standard anime plot line.
Yeah.
But there's one called The Mermaid's Dream, which features a guy happening upon a mermaid being kept in a tank and just like falling in love with her, and she shares a vision of her dream of like being happy and free with him, and he is obsessed with her, and eventually, of course, decides that he's going to get in the tank with her and set her free. And spoiler alert, that doesn't go so well.
That doesn't go well, sure.
That doesn't go so well. As I think,
a real shape of water situation.
A real shape of water situation. Because it can be kind of straightforwardly like, oh, scary fish women who want to, destroy people, but there is a lot of room for a more feminist interpretation.
Yeah, for sure.
A creature that men think they can control, but the joke's on you, my good man. Do you have any scary mermaids that you think of, Midge?
Actually, I was gonna ask you, have you read Chlorine, the book by Jade Song? So there's a horror novel, kind of a coming of age. I feel like there's a lot of like kind of like werewolves, like a lot of coming of age stuff tied up in mermaid
for sure
lore. Also, those of us who rocked heavy with the 13th Year back on Disney Channel original movies.
I definitely know the 13th Year,
a classic coming of age mermaid tale. But yeah, so Chlorine, I don't know if I said that, by Jade Song is the author. But that's a sapphic dark mermaid tale, and honestly very similarly, like, she's a competitive swimmer in the book, but it explores, I mean, it's dark and surreal and weird, and also like explores very much that what you're talking about, like a mermaid in the form of hidden queerness, and it's a really, like, it's good, and it's a short read. I would recommend pick up a copy for summer.
I was gonna say, sounds like a delightful summer read.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It's a really kind of, and it's also very specifically like an HPI. Like, it focuses a lot on Asian heritage as well, and the pressures of that. So if that's something that's interesting to you also, it's just got a lot of really cool themes, and it's like spooky without being, it's not like, if you're not like a horror reader, then you don't want to be scared, I guess is what I mean.
Yeah.
It would be an okay thing to delve into.
Nice. I'm definitely putting that on my list for my hammock reading this summer.
Yeah. Great summer read. I think I read that last summer.
Perfect. Yeah, that and that was part of why I was like, all right, mermaid, we're at the end of mermaid, but like we're starting a whole summer of mermaid action. I love when you and I's brains are in the same mode, because when y'all come back and listen next week, you're going to LOL at man.
what we've kind of done our when you did a part 1 of like vampire lore, and then I went into Nosferatu. Like, we've kind of done another back-to-back double feature on accident.
Secret mind meld. I love when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think it's also really interesting that the mermaid is so frequently used as like a logo, or like obviously the Starbucks mermaid.
Starbucks, right. The siren's call of the coffee.
The siren's call, yes. But we see mermaids also being used to like market food, like tuna and random stuff. And it is just she's an interesting figure, I think, is both like desirable and terrifying, which I am always a fan of.
I was gonna say, which is the best kind of thing. Yeah,
exactly. Perfect. Yeah, so I don't know, this was one of those things where I was kind of like, is there just going to be like one thing for me to learn about? And as I was looking at it, I was like, oh, there's a lot here. So I wanted to do kind of like a Mermaids 101 intro to mermaids.
We'll come back to deeper curriculum. No, that's totally, we're mind melding. I had a very similar experience with my topic where I was like, this can be broken down into 5,000 things. Where do we start?
Exactly. Yes. I was like,
and it's any kind of creature or folklore that's been around as long as they have. It's like you can go down a million different paths with all the different tales and stories.
For sure.
I had something came up in my brain and then it immediately vacated. Dang.
Queer mermaids, mermaid tales.
Mermaid.
I will say that I feel like it was like in the peak of like 2020, 2021, where I was seeing so many like mermaid videos on the socials, and I was like, do I need a mermaid tail? I can barely swim. I can barely swim. Like, I should not. But maybe for just like sitting. Like, I would love to do
lounging by the pool.
I would say I would love to do a mermaid like photo shoot and get to wear the tail. Maybe not like fully invest in one, but it would be so cool, Midge.
Do you follow that? I don't know how else to describe it because I know you'll know the fat mermaid woman. She's probably literally like a swimmer who does. Her whole thing is like, I'm a plus size mermaid, and she's so beautiful, and it's really cool. Like, again, just things you didn't see growing up, you know.
Yes. And now I feel bad because I don't remember the name because it was so many years ago. But I followed like a really great like fat mermaid guy who was always like out like. And like was always like out in like you know, on a rock in the ocean with the water spraying, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I need.
You said my brand.
My brand. I think so. What color would your mermaid tail be, Midge?
Ooh, what a great question. I think maybe I'd like kind of I think just like a classic kind of iridescent tealy color, you know, just like a straight up. Or can I do like a bisexual flag tail, like a blue,
of
blue, purple, and pink tail? That's fun.
Love that.
Just in time for June.
yes, mermaid pride. Yeah, I think I would want like a dark shimmery purple.
Yeah.
I feel like would be my vibe, maybe with like black stripes.
Ooh. Yeah, my initial like first jump was to say something orange, and I was like, am I just matching my hair?
Right. Yes. that is the danger. I was like, am I just matching myself? And I was like, no, I think that's right.
Yeah, no, it is. And that's, I can see you rocking purple for sure.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, friends, for listening. Do feel free to join us over on our Discord and tell us what color your mermaid tail would be. I would love to know. We have a good time over there chit-chatting about the episodes and just about everything else. We are getting into the first code oranges of the season, so folks are sharing where they're seeing spooky stuff. So feel free to come and join us and hang out. And if you enjoyed the pod, we would love to hear your feedback. You can leave a review on iTunes. You can leave comments on Spotify. You can DM us on Instagram if you are not able to leave a review where you listen. I believe we are out of fresh hot reviews for now.
I believe we are, yes.
A tragedy, but
a tragedy.
But so please do let us know. We love to hear it. And if you want to follow along with the podcast, you can find us on Instagram at Ghouls Night In Pod. And if you are looking for me, you can find me at Penny Snark.
And you can find me all over the web at Midge Munster.
And until next time. Good. Bye.